from Clemens and Clayton, but it will be thumbs up versus the ferret finger in the first semi. Who's going to take on Professor Chisnell in semi number 2? Jackpot is back in the last 8 of a European Tour event for the first time in 3 years. If he can make the final tonight, Chris Murphy, he will only be in his 3rd final in his career. Now, to a lot of people, that is mystifying. But Danny Noppert has made finals this year. He's looking to go one better than making the final. He wants to get a European Tour title for the very first time.
Yeah, Noppert certainly does have high hopes of achieving that at the end of this evening's action. But, well, Danny Noppert has been, despite winning the UK Open, a player that perhaps doesn't get enough credit, that has gone under the radar at times in 2022. Adrian Lewis did pick up a first title on the floor just a couple of months ago, Lewis, and that ended a rather long dry spell for him. It was his first in 3 years, in fact. Could be picking up a second title in the space of 3 months.
Seems to be
58.
The same statement. First time in 3 years. So, first title in 3 years. First quarter-final in 3 years. Are you guys starting to see the pattern here?
100.
Now, there's Eric Claris. What a legend. Got to meet him yesterday. And I called him an icon, and he blushed.
140.
He is revered in this country. A cult hero.
Certainly milking it a little there, wasn't he, Eric?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, there have been a few maybe false dawns with Adrian Lewis 59. Where he's put in a good performance here, a good performance there, some high averages, some of the old free-flowing, fast-throwing darts.
I've got a theory as well, and I don't know whether this is just me being the old-fashioned type of noughties and early tens dart player that I am, but I'm a big believer in sticking with the stuff that you were at your best with. And when it comes to Adrian, these flights are sharper on the edges. They're slightly smaller than some that he's used over the last 3 or 4 seasons. And these are the ones where he gets his best performances. So why on earth would he change?
62.
Treble 19 for double 19.
$57.
Almost made the necessary adjustment.
Well, there is a thing about leaving 60 with 2 darts that we've talked about all day long. Well, here is where it gets a bit sticky for Danny because he's got 2 flights in the way.
Well, that is a very strange start to that visit, I have to say. Double top. 60. You wouldn't think that the second dart would be the one closer to the treble.
Yeah.
38.
That was a bad first dart because I assure you he was going for the 60.
Games from the first leg.
And Adrian gets a good start.
Second leg, Danny.
And I don't know why. We're in the last quarter-final of this tournament, and it just still feels that Adrian's going under the radar. It's weird.
Yeah, and he had that fantastic display, didn't he, in his first match against Boris Kritschmer, averaged 103, hit 4 180s in it, and I just wondered if it was one of those where Adrian Lewis has turned up again and then he'll be knocked out in the next round, but
100.
has got another 6-1 victory in his next game against Kim Huybrechts, the party pooper here in Belgium.
So he should have plenty of gas in the tank then.
Yeah, this is of course a stiffer test.
Well, it has to be, surely.
44.
But one thing that Adrian's done exceptionally well this week is not waste energy on celebrating certain victories 41. Or getting the crowd involved. He's essentially playing practice room darts on stage. He's meandering around the stage. He's not eyeballing anybody. He's keeping his reserves up there, and he's playing the kind of stuff without looking at what he's hitting, but the way he's throwing looks very encouraging.
50.
Yeah, and he's a man who's got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the European Tour. Remember when we saw him in Prague, he beat Gerwyn Price, and then there was some afters on the stage, and he kind of said he'd had enough. Didn't need all the hassle.
109.
And he does withdraw from a few, but he's been the beneficiary of withdrawals for this one, and he's making the most of it.
Yes, he is so far.
100.
But there is more to talk
Can
about
you require
when it comes to
100?
this game. There is a lot on the line for jackpot.
Yeah, we'll come to that, but Danny Noppert is coming up to tops. And now he's going down to tens. No, it's not in, Danny.
Might have been one of those shots where the flight shields the point and you're hoping it's in.
80.
No matter how long you look, it ain't going to move.
I'm not really sure if Danny's a massive fan of double 10. I know he likes tops. That side-on stance. But this is the dart that I'm talking about. It looks a bit awkward. Yeah, don't listen to me. Just watch him. But this match, Murph, huge repercussions, not just for him, but for other players as well.
123.
If you are an Adrian Lewis fan, you will probably want to know this. What does he have to do to get in the European Championship in Dortmund in late October? He's not in Gibraltar before Dortmund, so he can't do anything there.
60.
It's all about this game and the next one, if he gets there. Because getting to the semis here is not enough.
92.
He must make the final if he's going to get to Dortmund, and that will be him knocking Callan Rids out of the European Championship.
55.
He'll certainly be confident of doing so, despite how his darting days have gone in recent years. Adrian Lewis is a proper great of this game, a two-time back-to-back world champion. In fact, he was the reigning two-time world champion when he last won a European Tour event in 2012.
Yeah, and he beat a fellow Stokey in the final in Ian White. I mean, around
99.
ended 2011 to 2015. I mean, that European Championship he won, my word. I mean, he was so much better than anybody else in that tournament. It was frightening. I mean, you talk about Peter Wright dominating the match play last year, and when Peter Wright won the Europeans in 2020, he was dominant. But look back at when Adrian won the Europeans.
81.
Look at some of the results. He was astounding.
Yeah, he won that in 2013. Having won his first World Cup the year earlier,
54.
You'll remember that one. 13, 15 and 16.
Yes.
He won the World Cup after that, and that 2016 World Cup win, his last title on stage.
It's a long time, that.
His last on his own was
60.
in Auckland the year before.
Oh, that was a good final against Barneveld. Won on a double one. He's won that leg on tops, the next door neighbour. And this one is following the pattern of most of the games in the quarterfinals. It's a drab affair, and so far it can only improve, surely.
Yeah, Johnny Clayton,
60.
Gabriel Clements, that had proper darting drama, didn't it? But apart from that, it's been comfortable for one player despite not playing too well.
Yeah.
60.
It's really hard to get that adrenaline pumping when you're playing a player who doesn't fuel you. Now, this is the benefit of playing someone like a Price or someone of that ilk at this stage, because adrenaline is guaranteed. The last final
58.
that Adrian Lewis made on the Euro Tour was in Gibraltar in 2018, where he lost out to Michael van Gerwen.
Who did he beat in the semi-finals, though?
I don't know, but I know that Steve West was in the other semi-final. Oh, great darts from Noppie. Should we call him that? Because he's the freeze now. He's dropped the whole Noppie tag.
123.
He's gone from averaging 80 before this leg began to leaving 81 after 9.
Yeah. Well, it looks like he might be going down the Clayton route to victory rather than the Gilding and Chisnell one, who woke up after a couple of legs and then started producing sensational stuff, and that is a dozen dart leg, leaving Adrian Lewis on 260.
Yeah, it's as if Danny has pressed the snooze button and has finally decided to get out of bed.
96.
Has won the last 3 matches against Adrian Lewis. In fact, Lewis had won the first 2 in 2019 and 2020, but 2 wins on the Euro Tour for Noppert, both of those on Saturdays, and a win on the floor earlier this year.
This is some spell from Noppert. 12 darter followed by a maximum. What's next? I think
60.
Adrian's got to be careful now, because we're entering a stage of this match where Danny is super focused and super accurate.
Purple patch. How long will it last?
137.
Well, the one thing that's got to change is the first 9 for Adrian Lewis. It's currently at 81.5.
58.
I think maybe this is, I hate to use this phrasing, but the experience of Noppert this season in negotiating this stage of the tournament compared to someone who hasn't been here for a while. Now, with all the experience that Adrian has, even when you've not been at this stage for a while, it will feel a bit different.
126.
Well, yeah, you were saying 4 years since he's really been in the deep, deep end of a tournament like this. Yeah, Pro Tours, you're there, but it's a shorter window of time, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes you come off a Pro Tour game or a Players' Championship game and you're told 5 minutes.
Oh, look at this. Look at that from Danny Noppert. Back-to-back 12 darters. That one completed on double 12 for a stunning 1-2-6 checkout. And he has got a grip on this game.
Well, the words of the great Apollo Creed, some folks got to do it the hard way. And that's 1-2-6, the hard way.
Delightful viewing, but Adrian Lewis now needs to flick the switch, and that is what made him so good in the early part of last decade, the first half of it. Maybe he's flicked it, maybe he's found it again.
Sometimes when he's in this sort of mood, we'd have to cut him open to make sure he's not a Terminator, because that look in his eyes, it's as if he is frozen. I think he's a remarkable professional, and if you're looking for somebody as an example of what a 2022 professional looks like, plays like, behaves like, Danny Noppert is your man.
Well, it's the potential for a third 12 dart leg on the spin
57.
here. It would require
Danny require 144.
a second successive 3-figure out shot, a second one that requires 2 trebles and a double, and arguably it was easier than the one he just took out the way he took it out.
Are we getting to the point of this match where Adrian needs to hit a big out the way that Clayton did?
Might hit one. Wants the ball to do so. Hits the jackpot.
Ring a ding ding. Much needed.
7th leg, Adrian.
How good was that?
Nicely respected by Noppert as well, but Adrian Lewis was on the ropes there, and boy did he come back fighting.
64.
What I want this crowd to sing right now, and this is no disrespect to Adrian at all, because he's still a young man, but I want them to sing, "You've still got it." Because when crowds sing that at other sporting events, when that kind of thing happens, it's spine-tingling.
By the way, Paul, sorry, we did still get the third consecutive 12 darter there.
Yeah, he did.
Adrian Lewis opened that leg with a maximum and finished it with a 164.
I am not so sure we're going to get another 12 darter.
Well, Adrian Lewis has long been of the belief that you do never lose it. Now, recent evidence suggests that he might have lost some of his edge. He's
29.
regressed as a darts player in the last 5 years or so.
You've got to evolve, Murph. It's what it's all about. If we've got to learn something from Phil Taylor, it's that if you're going to have a long career that's going to span over 15 years, you must evolve.
140.
Whether that's equipment, style, lifestyle, you must evolve.
Because many darts players do stubbornly,
57.
rightly or wrongly, that's not for me to say, subscribe to the theory that one day I'll wake up and it'll just come back.
Oh, that's absolutely not the right thing to do. Look at Luke Humphries over the last 3 years. He's evolved maybe more than anybody.
140.
And look what he's doing. He's not here, but he's had an amazing season, and the likelihood is he's going to be the #1 seed going into the Euros.
125.
Yeah, we are seeing the evolution of Danny Noppert as well. It won't be the 4th dozen darter on the spin, but it might be a 13. Double 10. And still time. Doesn't really want to miss inside here, but doesn't want to not attack it either.
30.
I love that you said "and still" there, because that's something that the person announcing the champion doesn't use in darts. Could have said that about Adrian in 2012, and still champion of the world.
10.
Tonight it's going to be "and the new."
Games from the
Is it going to be Danny Noppert? Because he breaks back. He was in danger there of giving Adrian Lewis a leg. Lewis wrestled the last one off him with that supersized 164 checkout, but Noppert missed 3 darts at double before putting the double 5 away.
91.
From here on out, it's got to be a real hand in pocket to the bottom of the pocket, find whatever you got left kind of night
93.
if you're Adrian. Quick reminder, if he loses this match, he's not going to Dortmund. And that will be good news for the likes of James Wade and Christoph Ratajski, because they're hanging on to their spots. Like that cat in that poster, it says just hang in there.
96.
Hungry work. There's a long way to go. 3 more matches after this. And if you can come through this last quarter-final, only 2 games separate you from that European Tour title. Foot to the floor from here on out.
100.
It will either be a first PDC title for Andrew Gilding, the first Euro Tour title for Danny Noppert, or a first of the year
123.
for Dave Chisnell, Johnny Clayton, or Adrian Lewis.
What do you think the final's going to be?
Well,
91.
I don't think this match is settled yet. Certainly not now, as Lewis applies pressure.
165.
Sensational.
Danny require
We've had
136.
2 big finishes in this match, a 1-2-6 and a 1-6-4. A 1-3-6 would be even better in this spot. Wow! What a shot! And listen to this crowd! Considering what Adrian had just done by hitting a 1-6-5 to lead double 12, that will hurt.
If that finish doesn't go, and Adrian Lewis comes back and pins double 12, cleans it up with any of his next 3 darts, the game goes 4-all with Lewis throwing first, and he's favourite to win the darts match.
I've been in matches kind of like this, and someone hits a shot like that against you. I'm not kidding. There's no contact, but it does physically hurt because of the sensation in your stomach, and it feels like it's gone through the bottom of the stage. He's done it to me, has Danny Noppert. He's lethal, this guy.
Well, to answer your question, from what we've seen tonight, today, everything suggests that the final probably will be Danny Noppert against Johnny Clayton. But I did pick Andrew Gilding to win the tournament before the day started, so I'm going to go Gilding Noppert.
Well, I'm going for Clayton because I picked him to win it. And I think at this stage it's looking maybe like Noppert versus Clayton.
Yeah. Dan Dawson, for those of you who want to know who he's picking. He's still going for Dirk van Duijvenbode.
Good point. I just wonder what kind of merchandise there would be on offer if Andrew Gilding was to win. I've already got the John Henderson yoga mat.
Noppert still not over the line, will have the darts to win the match in the next leg, but Lewis has responded
57.
well to that
Adrian, you require 63.
massive uppercut that he would have felt. How's he feeling now? Oh, now he's hoping, because the 164 that he took out to, at that
31.
point, take control of the match is what could
164.
end the match for Adrian Lewis.
Old school 164. Wrong treble.
92.
First bullet
Adrian, you
dodged
require 32.
by Jackpot. Destiny in his own hands. Must find this
16.
and hands another chance
Daniel
to his
requires
9th seed
72.
opponent.
Any more rolls of the dice for Jackpot Adrian Lewis? Or will Danny Noppert get a double six? He does, to complete
Danny
victory
Noppert.
and book his place in the semi-finals of the Belgian Darts Open. It is the end of the road for Adrian Lewis in his campaign to reach the European Championship. Danny Noppert still on course to win his first European Tour title. If he is to do so, he'll have to beat Dave Chisnell in the semi-finals, and then the winner of the first last four showdown, which is coming up next. It's Andrew Gilding and Johnny Clayton, and it will be on your screen in just a few minutes' time. First, we'll hear from Noppie.